So we come to the 8th. Boxers and birth signs. So we go to Kelly, Billy Spider Kelly. Billy Spider Kelly was the British Commonwealth featherweight champion, 1954, 1956, 1954. You had West Germany win the World Soccer Cup in Switzerland, the only time the World Soccer Cup's been in Switzerland. Beating Hungary 3-2 in the final. And 1956 you had the Melbourne Olympics with fighters like Dick McTaggart in there, the great Scottish amateur fighter who stayed amateur all his career, and had over 600 fights. A tall southpaw, good fighter. So that was all going on at the same time. That Spider Billy Kelly had his British Commonwealth featherweight titles around 1954 to 1956, and Billy Spider Kelly was born in Londonderry, Northern Ireland on April the 21st, 1932, the same year as the first Los Angeles Olympics. California, you had the second one in 1984. Also, you had the Georgia Summer Olympics in 1996. So, Billy Spider Kelly was born in Londonderry, Northern Ireland on April the 21st, 1932, and because Billy Spider Kelly was born in Londonderry, Northern Ireland on April the 21st, 1932, he is just in a Taurus birth sign region, as Taurus birth sign goes from April the 20th to May the 20th. And Billy Spider Kelly began his pro boxing career on the 21st of February 1951. Like I said, you had Randolph Turpin fighting that year, and July the 10th of that year against Sugar Ray Robertson, and losing the rematch in that year, less than 2 months later. And you had Willie Pep v Sandy Sadler in that year. I swear Sadler went to Cuba or somewhere and fought someone like Solis. And you had Joe Louis being defeated, and I think that's when he retired. So I think it was Marciano fight, maybe. Is it Marciano? It would have been. So, I digress. So we go to another Spider, Jim Spider Kelly. So you had Billy Spider Kelly. This is Jim Spider Kelly. Both at featherweight, fight at featherweight. So Jim Spider Kelly was the British Commonwealth and featherweight champion from the year 1938 onwards, 1939. Like I said, 1939 was the starting of the World War II to 1945. So in 1938 was the first time a non-home country won the World Soccer Cup, because it was only the third. 1930 started the Uruguay win it, and Uruguay 1938. Uruguay win it, and Uruguay beating Argentina 4-2 in the final to win it in their own country. In 1934, you had Italy win the World Soccer Cup in Italy, beating Czechoslovakia 2-1. But like I said, 1930, it was the first year that changed. Italy won the World Soccer Cup in France, beating Hungary 4-2. So that was at the same time that Jim Spider Kelly was British Commonwealth featherweight champion, 1938, 1939, and Jim Spider Kelly was born in Londonderry, Northern Ireland, on February 25th in 1912. 1912, obviously had the Titanic sink on the 15th of April that year, but you also had a cracking fight, a dodgy fight, where midget Wargas fought Mexican Joe Rivers in the lighter weights there, and they both had a double knockout a la Rocky 2 style. And the referee, I think it was Jack Welsh, a friend as well, pulled his man off Mexican Joe Rivers, was Ad Wargast, and counted Mexican Joe Rivers out. So there's a bit of a dodgy sequence going on there. They fought long and hard, and that happened. And because Jim Spider Kelly was born in Londonderry, Northern Ireland on the 25th of February 1912, 25th of February 1912, is a Pisces birth sign, as Pisces birth sign goes from February the 19th to March the 20th. Like I say, that same year, 1912, it's July the same date actually, July the 4th of that year, the same day as the midget Wargas fight I just talked about, Mexican Joe Rivers. Different places though. You had Jack Johnson fight Fireman Jim Flynn, which I saw the dirtiest headbutt and sequence without being disqualified I've ever seen from Fireman Jim Flynn, a man who had a knockout win over Jack Dempsey in his younger days. But the great Jack Johnson handled him easy. Jim Spider Kelly began his pro boxing career in 1929, the year of the stock market crash, the year that the great Tex Rickard, who promoted Jack Johnson and that fight I was just talking about, a great promoter, would die in that year, January that year. You also had the real St. Valentine's Day Massacre, not the boxing one, in 1921 with Al Capone. Later that year, the stock market crash. That's enough for 1 year. Yeah. So we go to another Spider. So Tom Spider Kelly. Tom Spider Kelly. So if we just gone through Billy Spider Kelly and then Jim Spider Kelly, now we're on Tom Spider Kelly. Now Tom Spider Kelly was the world bantamweight champion from 1887 to 1892. 1887, John L. Sullivan would have been the proclaimed champion because he beat Paddy Ryan in 1882. And yes, so from all around that time. And Tom Spider Kelly was born in New York, USA on September the 6th, 1867. Now, in 1867, the American recognised champions, it sometimes is a bit hazy, this history. It was proclaimed the champions. You get quite a lot of champions proclaim themselves champions, or people proclaim them, their backers. But Jimmy Elliott was the American bare knuckle champion at that time, 1865 to 1870. And at this time also in England, you had William Dart, who's proclaimed the English champion from 1766 to 1769. And because Tom Spider Kelly was born in New York, USA on September the 6th, 1867, he is a Virgo birth sign, as Virgo birth sign goes from August the 23rd to September the 22nd. And Tom Spider Kelly began his pro boxing career in 1886. Like I say, yeah, that would have been in that time. As John L. Sullivan, 4 years before that, would have beaten Paddy Ryan in 1882 to be the bare knuckle champion of that day. So Hill McKenty. We come to Hill McKenty, the Bronx, the Kronk fighter, should I say. Manny Stewart trained. So Hill McKenty was the world lightweight champion, WBA, around 1980 onwards, kicking around that scene then. And Hill McKenty was born in Austin, in Texas, on July the 30th, 1955. Now, again, 1966, July the 30th, England won the World Soccer Cup in England, beating Germany 4-2 in the final. 6 days later, on August the 6th, Muhammad Ali beat Jack London in the third round in the States, I think, from what I remember. Third round with amazing salvo shots, which was unbelievable hand speed for a heavyweight. And yes, and because Hill McKenty was born in Austin, Texas, 30th July 1955, here's a Leo birth sign, as Leo birth sign goes from July the 23rd to August the 22nd. And Hill McKenty began his pro boxing career in 1977, a year after Montreal Summer Olympics, where Sugar Ray Leonard won gold, beating El Dama in the final. And a year after the second Austria Winter Olympics in Innsbruck. And we come to Stanley Ketchum. Unfortunately got shot by Walter Dibley in the back when he was a young man. At a farm in the back. And Stanley Ketchum, great middleweight champion, was middleweight champion from 1907-1910, which pretty much is when he got shot, so he might have ruled for a long time more. Stanley Ketchum from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Grand Rapids in Michigan, was born on September the 14th, 1886. And because Stanley Ketchum was born in Grand Rapids in Michigan on September the 16th, 1886, Stanley Ketchum is a Virgo birth sign, as Virgo birth sign goes from August the 23rd to September the 22nd. And Stanley Ketchum began his pro boxing career on May the 2nd, 1903. Stanley Ketchum fought the great Jack Johnson at heavyweight for his title. Actually put Jack Johnson down for overhand right. I mean, again, some say it happens. I mean, they say you can see him wiping the teeth off his gloves, Jack Johnson. Some say it's folklore, but I'll say it looks pretty real to me, what he's doing there in the old black and white film. Also fought Philadelphia Jack O'Brien. So we go to Johnny Kilbane. Johnny Kilbane was the featherweight champion from 1912 to 1923. Him and Abatel held that title for nearly a quarter century between themselves. With Johnny Kilbane was the world featherweight champion 1912 to 1923. Like I say, 1912 was that same year that Jack Johnson fought fireman Jim Flynn, July the 4th, and that same year that Midget Wargas fought Mexican Joe Rivers. They were both on July the 4th of that year, 1912. So all happening at the same time. Johnny Kilbane was fighting for that title back and forth, and Johnny Kilbane was born in Cleveland, in Ohio, on April the 18th, 1889. And because Johnny Kilbane was born on April the 18th, 1889, in Cleveland, Ohio, he's only still just in the Aries birth sign. His Aries birth sign goes from March the 21st to April the 19th. And Johnny Kilbane began his pro boxing career in 1907. That had been a year before the first England Olympics, Summer Olympics. The second was in 1948. And you had Ray Ellery win 3 golds in Paris there, a track runner. Ray Ellery he won 2 golds. He won 2 golds actually in London, 1908, but he also won 3 golds in St. Louis, Missouri in 1904, and 3 golds in Paris in 1900. So it's quite a lot of golds there, 8 golds basically. And he won some other interrelated games, but I digress. So Johnny Kilbane. Yes, so that's Johnny Kilbane. So we come to Chu Ho Kim, super flyweight champion. Chewie Ho Kim. From 1981 onwards, he was a super flyweight champion, WBC, and Chewie Ho Kim was born in Osan, Korea, on March the 3rd, 1961, and because Chewie Ho Kim was born in Korea on March the 3rd, 1961, he is a Pisces birth sign. His Pisces birth sign goes from February 19th to March the 20th. And Chewie Ho Kim from Korea, the super flyweight champion, in 1981 onwards, began his pro boxing career in 1978, the same year that Argentina would win the World Soccer Cup in Argentina, beating Holland 3-1 in the final. And we come to Juan Jin Kim. That's Juan Jin Kim. Juan Jin Kim was the world flyweight champion, WBA version, from 1981 onwards. And Juan Jin Kim was born in Gyeongnam, South Korea, on the 25th of June 1955. And because Juan Jin Kim, the world flyweight WBA champion from 1981 onwards, was born in Gyeongnam, Korea, on the 25th of June 1955. He is just in the Cancer birth sign region, because Cancer birth sign goes from June the 21st to July the 22nd. That's Juan Jin Kim. And Juan Jin Kim started his pro boxing career in 1981. That'd be a year after the Moscow Summer Olympics. and a year after the USA Lake Placid Winter Olympics, which I think they both boycotted each other's, if that makes sense then. So we come to Kazoo Kim. Now Kazoo Kim was the world light middleweight champion 1966 to 1968. You had that ominous year 1966, or 30th of July 1966, when England won the World Soccer Cup in England, beating Germany 4-2 in the final, and 1968 when George Foreman won the heavyweight gold medal in Mexico. It was the last year where heavyweight was the heaviest division, because in no, it wasn't. It was 70s. No, I'm digressing. I'm jumping ahead. So it wasn't. So it's 1968 was George Foreman when he won the gold medal with the heavyweight division in Mexico. In Mexico Summer Olympics. You also had the France Winter Olympics, and the France Winter Olympics were in Grenoble that year, the same year as the Summer Mexico Olympics. So, and that was the same time as Kazoo Kim was a world light middleweight champion. 1966 to 1968, that was going on at the same time, and Kazoo Kim was born in Bukchong, South Korea on September the 18th, 1939, the year the World War II started officially. See some before, and some say it was before, and because Bukchong Kazoo was born in Bukchong, South Korea on September the 18th, 1939. He is just in the Virgo birth sign area, as Virgo birth sign goes from August the 23rd to September the 22nd. And Kazoo Kim, the light middleweight champion in 1966 and 1968, began his pro boxing career on August 1961, the same year that Muhammad Ali fought Tony Esperti on his birthday, 17th of January 1961, and beat Tony Esperti, a man who went away for a mob hit, and he stopped him in the third round, TKO. So we come to Hyun Kim. So Hyun Kim was the world lightweight champion 1978 and 1980. Same, like I say, 1978 was the year Argentina won the World Soccer Cup in Argentina, beating Holland 3-1. And you had the Moscow Summer Olympics, which USA boycotted. And you also had the USA, weirdly enough, Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. At around the same time that Hyun Kim was world lightweight champion, 78 to 80, and Hyun Kim was born in Busan, South Korea on March the 15th, 1955, a year after the Switzerland World Soccer Cup, the only time it's been held there, which Germany won, beating Hungary 3-2 in the final. And because Hyun Kim was born in Busan, South Korea on March the 15th, 1955, he is a Pisces birth sign, because Pisces birth sign goes from February the 19th to March the 20th. And Hyun Kim began his pro boxing career in 1973, the same year that Bruce Lee died. He died on the 20th of July that year, 1973. So that's always, that date synonymous with 1969 in history, when Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. 20th of July 1969, 4 years before that. When he went up with Michael Connolly and Buzz Aldrin. And it's synonymous with whether it happened or not. When Rommel tried to overthrow Hitler, that was in 1944, but again it's debatable whether that happened. Sometimes a little bit of folklore with all history, including boxing history also. And 1973 was when Muhammad Ali fought Ken Norton twice in their trilogy. The third fight was in 1976, but the two fights in 1973, the same year that Hyun Kim turned pro, was September the 10th, 1973. Ali lost to Norton, getting his jaw broken in the first fight. And then 28th, no, that was the second fight actually. Ali got his jaw broken on the 31st of March 1973, and then rematched him and won the rematch, got revenge on September the 10th, 1973, all the same year that Hyun Kim turned pro. Near enough within weeks of that. So we come to Shik Kim. Shik Kim was the world flyweight WBA champion 1980 onwards. Same year as the Moscow Summer Olympics and the USA Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. And Shik Kim was born in Gangwon-do, South Korea on July the 4th, 1957. Again, July the 4th is synonymous with a lot of dates in boxing. You had 1910, Jeffries v Jack Johnson. You had Jack Dempsey v Jess Wellard in 1919, July the 4th. Again, I could go on with quite a few of them. You had Gentleman Jim Flynn v Jack Johnson in 1912, July the 4th. And that same day, July the 4th, 1912, Midget Wargast fought Mexican Joe Rivers. So, because Shik Kim was born in Gangwon-do, South Korea on July the 4th, 1957, he is a Cancer birth sign. As Cancer birth sign goes from 21st of June to July the 22nd. And Shik Kim began his pro boxing career on September the 30th, 1977. It's a day out from the 1790 date when Daniel Mendoza fought Humphreys. He fought Humphreys for the third time. That was on the 29th of October, 1790. But also the 30th of September 1974, Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman in Zaire, Kinshasa, Zaire. So we come to Arthur King. So Arthur King was the Commonwealth and Canadian lightweight champion, 1948 to 53. Like I say, 1948, you had the second British Olympics held in London. 1953, the year after the Helsinki Summer Olympics, and the year after the Norway Oslo Winter Olympics. So Arthur King was the Commonwealth and Canadian lightweight champion around them times, 1948, 1953, that was all going on. And he was born, Arthur King was born in Toronto, Canada on February 28th, 1927, the year of the Battle of Long Count with Gene Tunney and Jack Dempsey, the second fight. And because Arthur King was born in Toronto, Canada on 28th of February 1927. He is a Pisces birth sign. His Pisces birth sign goes from 19th of February to March the 20th. Then we come to Johnny King, was a British Commonwealth Bantamweight champion 1932, 1947. 32 was that Los Angeles Olympics, the second USA Olympics, the first Los Angeles Olympics, the second was in 1984, the Summer Olympics I'm talking about. And 1947 there. That was 1932 to 1947. He was winning his British Commonwealth's Bantam Championships. And because Johnny King was born in Manchester, England on January the 8th, 1912, January the 8th, 1912, he is a Capricorn birth sign, as Capricorn birth sign goes from December the 22nd to 19th of January. And Johnny King began his pro boxing career on May the 15th, 1927. That's a year of Gene Tunney, Jack Dempsey fight. And he was born in 1912. That was a year of the Titanic. Titanic sunk a little bit after he was born on April the 15th, 1912, but he was born on January the 8th, 1912. And in that year you had Fireman Jim Flynn, anything but a gentleman, the way he fought against Jack Johnson, and Mexican Joe Rivers fighting Ad Wolgast in that year. So we go to Pony Kingpatch, cracking fighter. Cracking name, cracking fighter. Pony Kingpatch was the world flyweight champion 1960, 1965. Like I say, 1960, you had the Rome Olympics where Muhammad Ali won a light heavyweight gold. He didn't get the best fighter of the tournament though. Went pro that year, having two fights against Tony Hunsucker and Herb Seller. And then he would fight 8 in 1961. So 1965 was the year that Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston on the 25th of May 1965. He beat Sonny Liston with Josie Joe Walcott as the referee and the timekeeper, the Ring magazine editor, owner, Nat Fleischer. That was the first round, weird circumstances, and that was in Lewiston, Maine. The first one was a year before, 1964, February 25th, 1964, in Miami Beach Convention Centre. So, Pony Kingpatch, world flyweight champion from 1960 1965. Pony Kingpatch was born in Hue Hue, Thailand on February 12th, 1936. Same year as the Berlin Olympics, where Jesse Owens competed. Jesse Owens wasn't, sometimes contrary to belief, he wasn't the first black man to win a gold. It was Jack London, a guy called Jack London. Nothing to do with the boxer's dad, Jack London. But Jack London, he won 100 metre silver and the 4 lots of 100 metre bronze in 1928 in Amsterdam, the Summer Olympics, which is the same year as the Switzerland Winter Olympics in Samoritz. So, because Pony Kingpatch was born on February 12th, 1936, he is a Aquarius birth sign, as Aquarius birth sign goes from January the 20th to February the 18th. Then we come to Frank Klaus, the cracking infighter. Wrote a book about infighting, purely infighting. Was the world middleweight champion 1912 onwards. So that was the same year Mexican Joe Rivers fought Ad Wolgast. Titanic sunk on the 15th of April that year. Gentleman Jim, I can't remember what's gentleman, it's Fireman Jim Flynn, fought Jack Johnson in a real dirty fight. And Frank Klaus was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on December the 30th, 1887. And because Frank Klaus was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, December the 30th, 1887 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he is a Capricorn birth sign. As Capricorn birth sign goes from December the 22nd to January the 19th. And we come to Frankie Click. So Frankie Click was the world junior lightweight champion, 1933 to 1935. And he was born, because he was born in San Francisco, California, May the 5th, 1907. He is a Taurus birth sign, because Taurus birth sign goes from the 20th of April to the 20th of May. He began his pro boxing career on October 29th, 1924, which is the same year as the Paris Olympics. Then we come to Kazoo Kobayashi, was the world super bantamweight champion, WBC version 1976, the same year the Montreal Olympics. And because Kazoo Kobayashi was born in Fukuoka, Japan, October the 10th, 1949, he is a Libra birth sign. His Libra birth sign goes from 23rd of September to October the 22nd. And he began his pro boxing career 25th of February 1973. Same year Ali fought Ken Norton twice. Then David Poison Cote was the world and Commonwealth featherweight champion, WBC version 1974-1978. 74 was the year Germany won the World Soccer Cup in Germany, beating Holland 2-1 in the final. And 1978 was the same year that Argentina won the World Soccer Cup in their own country, beating Holland again 3-1. And David Poison Cote, because David Poison Cote was born in Accra, Ghana, December the 7th, 1950. He is a Sagittarius birth sign. And 1950 was the only year the World Soccer Cup was contested with no knockout tournament, which Uruguay won in Brazil. And David Poison Cote began his pro boxing career in 1966, the same year England won the World Soccer Cup, on the 30th of June 1966 in England, beating Germany 4-2 in the final. And like I say, 6 days later, in 1966, on August the 6th, 1966, Muhammad Ali beat Brian London in 3 rounds. And to finish, if I get time, come to Solly Krieger. He was a world middleweight champion 1938, 39. Like I say, 39 was the year that the World War II started, but some say it was really before, but officially 38 was the first, was the year when the World Soccer Cup was won by Italy in France, beating Hungary 4-2 in the final. And Solly Krieger, because he was born on 28th of March 1909, he is a Aries birth sign. His Aries birth sign goes from March the 21st to April the 19th. And Solly Krieger began his pro boxing career on the 22nd of December 1928, the same year as the Amsterdam Olympics. Bang, that's the end of that one.